to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Imaging Services, ChiroThin, Chiro Moguls, Mahalo Wellness, Local Gold, Chiro Health USA, The Goodman Factor, Chiropractic Rocks, Winner's Edge, Accident Records, Chiro Tax Pro, Full Script, your online dispensary, Angela Pearson, author of I'm Not Contagious, and Digital Hustle. Let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 175 of the Chiro Hustle podcast. I am your co-host, Luke Millette, and here is your host, Jim Chester.
So today we had the opportunity of interviewing Rick Kirkpatrick, and if you want to know more about the healing arts of chiropractic and what it means to be a practitioner in his 5th year, stay tuned. All right, so we are live today with our good friend out there in the Front Range of Colorado, Belmar area of Lakewood. And this is Dr. Rick Kirkpatrick, and this is episode 175, and we're so enthused to have you on as our guest today.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah, we've gotten to know you pretty well over the past couple years. And it's been great to, be able to get adjusted by you sometimes, and to know that you have a big servant heart. And I know that you're going to really light up our audience today with your message.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's always a pleasure to see you guys and take care of you. And yeah, so always ready to serve and help people. So.
Great, man. Well, in our typical fashion, we always like to open up our sequence with Chiro Hustle and ask the chiropractors that we get a chance to interview to tell us their chiropractic story and what really influenced them to become a chiropractor. So if you wouldn't mind sharing with our audience your chiropractic story.
Sure, absolutely. So out of high school, I really didn't know what direction I wanted to take with my life. I knew I didn't want to be in a cubicle all day. And so I actually pursued culinary for a little bit and did that for about 8 months. And everyone in the industry was either a drug addict or an alcoholic, and their marriages were falling apart. And looking at that, I was like, this is not what I want for my life. And so this is kind of funny, but I didn't like working hard. And so I was like, what's the next easiest thing that I can do that I can get done quick, I can make some money and have some freedom, right? And I went to pursue being a massage therapist. And a week before I entered into school, someone said, hey, why don't you do chiropractic? I was like, I have no idea what that word even means. And so they're like, dude, you can help more people and you can make more money. I was like, all right, both those things sound good. So ended up, there was a gentleman in my church, worked for a chiropractor at the time. Him and another gentleman at the time were leaving. He's like, hey, go in, talk to him, see if he'll hire you. So 0 experience, probably one of the least professional interviews of my life. Went and met him in t-shirts, shorts, and flip-flops. And he ended up hiring me. And so I worked for him for 5 years, and through the process, I became X-ray certified, would stretch people out, would put people on different therapies, modalities, would get adjusted frequently, and did pretty much everything but adjust and write the doctor's notes, right? And fell in love with helping people. And so the story that really solidified it for me was this gentleman pulled up in his truck, was in so much low back pain that he couldn't physically walk into the office on his own. And so he called the office. Doc and I went out, grabbed him, carried him in, and 30 minutes later, he walked out on his own. And I looked at that and I was like, if that's the sort of difference I can make in people's lives the rest of my life, that's what I want to do. And so I pursued my biology degree. I condensed 8 years into 4 years into 8, 4 years into 8. So by the time I got out of school, people thought I was already a doctor. By the time I got out of my undergrad, and ended up pursuing chiropractic. Got into chiropractic school, realized I knew nothing about chiropractic. The way he took care of people, he was an incredible adjuster, but every time I got off the table, I would feel amazing. I'm like, yes, that is what I needed. That was amazing, right? And over time, I actually saw my body continue to deteriorate, which, as we all know, should not happen under specific chiropractic care. And so got into chiropractic school, started learning a bit more about the neurology, how the brain connects and controls every cell, organ, and tissue in the body, and how when it's taken care of very specifically, seemingly miraculous things can happen. And so once I got into school, found my passion, got on honor roll for the first time in my life, got my first 4.0, which was all very exciting, since my undergrad was the polar opposite of that. So that's kind of what got me into chiropractic, and it's never been the same since. Chiropractic is incredible.
Well, you lead a very amazing practice, because I've been there multiple times. And I call you the chiropractor of the chiropractors, because every chiropractor that I am friends with, I always bring by and have them get adjusted by you. And I always tell people they have to see your technique and how you do your adjusting style, because you integrate, which we call the integrator, and you also do a manual style of adjusting, and you do a bit of those together. And I know that when you get certified in the TRT style of adjusting, which is torque release technique that you do, that helps with the addictionology program as well. So let's talk a little bit about the style of adjusting that you do.
Sure. So as you alluded to, my foundation is torque release technique. From there, I do a lot. I'll intermix some Thompson, Gonstead, Toggle, and I'll do organ work, I'll do skull work. So it really depends on one, kind of what the person needs, right? Most chiropractors recognize that there is when someone comes in and lays on their table, there is this losing my thought. There's an agreement, an unspoken agreement between the practitioner and the patient. And the more that I've seen that the patient is aware of their body, and the more unspoken permission they give the practitioner, the more the practitioner can kind of see and do. At least that has been my experience. And so people that lay on the table that I have a lot of trust with, or they have a lot of trust with me, I can see more, feel more, and subsequently do more. The people that come in that are very closed off, it becomes very mechanical. So a lot of it really depends on the person who's laying on the table, and their comfortability and their trust, and it's a pretty interesting dynamic to observe.
So do you have any favorite motivational quotes or mantras or just general words of wisdom that resonate with you the most?
I think my biggest thing is freedom, right? People walk around every day in this bondage, sometimes this thing they call a body that they haven't recognized in years, right? Physical bondage, emotional bondage, spiritual bondage. And it's like the frog being boiled in water, right? People's health declines for so long, and then they're this shell of who they once were. And so really setting people free from that and actually seeing life start to come back in them again. So there's a 19-year-old girl that just came in 5 weeks or so ago. When she came in, she had been just a laundry list of health issues throughout her life. When 2.5 years ago, she was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. About a year ago, she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. 7 months ago, she was told she could no longer work out, she could no longer exercise, she could no longer run, all of which were a passion of hers at 19 years old. Anxiety, sleep issues, right? Just a lot of other things going on. Had been seeing another chiropractor and came into our office because she heard we do things a little bit different. And within, I think it was her second adjustment, she had 0 symptoms in her legs. That was on a Thursday. Things started creeping back up over the weekend. On her next adjustment on Monday, from that point on, so the last 3.5 weeks, she has had 0 symptoms in her extremities. She started running again. She started exercising again. And she's like, I feel like a normal, healthy teenager again. Like this is like her mind's been blown. She's so to see that in people is really what spurs me every day. Dr. Schiffman, I took this term from him, but he calls what we do a healing ministry, right? And in Mark 16:18, it talks about you lay hands on the sick and they shall recover. And so I get the opportunity to lay hands on people every day and watch them just transform, which is amazing.
Wow, it's such a beautiful opportunity to hear you share this. I talked to a practitioner today that's been practicing for 32 years, and I said to him, chiropractors are healers. There's no insurance code for healing. There's no code for miracles. Like, there's no coding for service. There's no coding for changing lives. Yeah. And I go, that's what chiropractic is it's not codable. Mm-hmm. And it's something that doesn't have like a reimbursement for. There's just a service provided to people and it has an outcome, and the outcome is quality and quality of life and revitalization and giving people hope again. And I think that what you're saying there is when you lay hands on somebody and you're trained properly, you can give people hope and you get the chance to be witness of that. And when you get a chance to witness people's bodies actually starting to come back and do what they're innately supposed to do, which are function and actually have joy and have some semblance of love for themselves, that's what chiropractic provides to people. And there's no code for that. I mean, you can't go to like a reimbursement agency and say, hey, I gave people their life back. Can you pay me more?
Right.
Like there's not a price amount you can charge for that.
Not at all. It's priceless.
So how do you think the world would change if everyone started getting adjusted regularly?
Oh man, it would be a game changer. At the lowest levels for the individual and for the families, I think we would see family dynamics shift. I've seen marriages be saved because of chiropractic care. Not only because both parties are now feeling better. And so now, right, their libido is up, they can communicate better, their thoughts are clear, and the relationship can improve and get better again. Man, I'm losing my train of thought. But see relationships be restored. I think at the community and the work level, we would see people be more productive. We would see less paid time off, less sick leave. So I think we'd see more productivity in the workplace. I think legally, we would start to see legislation change. We'd get more people on our side. We'd get more people on our team. And the more people on our team, as people started working their way up politically, I think we could see things change in that realm a whole lot faster. if we had a whole lot more people under solid chiropractic care and we're living that sort of lifestyle.
How do you think it would change politics?
Change politics. Well, I think it would lead to less corruption within politics. I believe there's a lot of corruption within politics these days. I think that would start to shift. I think people who are thinking clear and don't have a financial or political agenda behind them could make better decisions for the population and could actually start to initiate legislature that would be beneficial for the average person within the state or the community, as opposed to looking out for their own best interests.
Well, what you're saying there is there's a huge divide between healthcare and chiropractic services. And healthcare has become monopolized by a geopolitical system, and chiropractic, like I said earlier, you can't put a price on it. It's a service. It changes people's lives. It's a philosophy. It's an art. It's a gift. And it's actually what you were talking about before we asked you the political question was you're talking about there's this guy named B.J. Palmer who was the proprietor of chiropractic who said that if we follow this concept called the big idea, we can create this utopia. And if we create this utopia, then everybody has access to true health. And once somebody starts seeing that opportunity to be healthy, they tell somebody. And that's why word of mouth has always been the real supporter of chiropractic. And chiropractic has always been on a kind of a silent campaign as its own political front. And it's been something that stood alone outside of the medical model that actually gives health to people rather than keeps people in some type of an entrenched system. And that's really what you're saying is if we had a political party that actually knew what real chiropractic services could provide, we would have a greater responsibility of telling the truth rather than following a path that's been very confusing for most people.
Absolutely. Yep.
So in the trajectory that things are right now, where do you see the chiropractic profession heading in the next 20 years?
Man, the next 20 years. Well, I think that really falls on not only the leadership now, but the leadership that is coming up, and how much people will choose to lead and get out there and educate. Right? They say anything is one generation away from completely disappearing. And so if the leadership steps up, I think it could be, I think in 20 years, it has the potential to be the healthcare system on the planet. If we don't, and I think we could be in rough shape in 20 years if we even make it that long. So I think us as chiropractors and you guys who are interviewing and just amazing advocates for the profession, stepping up just like you guys are doing, and start to educate people just on just how amazing their body is, right? We've been lied to in this country for so long that we're designed to be sick. We're not designed to be healthy. And it's an absolute lie. We know that when the body's designed, like when it's functioning the way it was created to, health is our natural state. And so telling people to invest in themselves and invest in the host and make the host strong, then we don't have to worry about X, Y, and Z disease or catching something or being diagnosed with something. So, I think it really falls on the leadership and myself included to step up and just educate people on how amazing their body is, and keep sharing the message.
You
You made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Imaging Services, ChiroThin, Chiro Moguls, Mahalo Wellness, Local Gold, Chiro Health USA, The Goodman Factor, Chiropractic Rocks, Winner's Edge, Accident Records, Chiro Tax Pro, Full Script, your online dispensary, Angela Pearson, author of I'm Not Contagious, and Digital Hustle. Let's hustle. Let me ask you something. This isn't scripted, but is this your first podcast interview?
It's my first one.
Well, I'm going to put a campaign together to get you on more shows. I really believe that your leadership is coming, and I really believe that your voice can really change the way that people see the dynamic profession of chiropractic. And, you know, getting to know you over the past couple of years, going on hikes with you, spending time with you, sharing meals with you, just being a part of your ecosystem of life, I've had a chance to realize that you're ready to arrive, and you're ready to share the chiropractic message with more people. And I think that, you know, if I can do anything as a catalyst, as an advocate for you, I want to see your voice being heard on more chiropractic networks, and I want to see you on stages. And I'd love to see you be able to elevate who you are in this profession, because the world needs more Rick Kirkpatrick.
That is a big compliment, a big honor, and I humbly receive those words.
Yeah, so, you know, I guess another question off topic is, who are some of your chiropractic heroes and leaders that have helped you you mentioned Schiffman earlier. Who are some of your chiropractic heroes and leaders that have helped inspire you to become the practitioner you are today?
Absolutely. Dr. Schiffman was a huge catalyst. Going through school, just being around that man, the guy operates on a different plane. If you've ever had the honor of meeting Rob Schiffman, he's on another level. Dr. Pete Sulak is another one who's again just on another level, pushes you to be better. Dr. Eric Plasker is who I'm coaching with now with the 100-Year Lifestyle, and man, that guy is just on fire right now. Passionate, not slowing down. Right? He's at the top of his game and going higher. So those are some of the people who have really inspired me and pushed me to be better along my journey.
Well, Rick Kirkpatrick is on fire, and he's on another level.
Receive it. Let's go.
So what kind of marketing do you do for yourself and your clinic? Do you have any favorite marketing tactics like Facebook ads or Instagram or anything like that?
At the moment, no. Our marketing is incredibly limited right now. We used to get out in the public more, and we were starting to do more lunch and learns. And as we did that, COVID came in and kind of crashed that. So right now, it's really just been word of mouth and Google. We got Sked, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago. We've almost tripled, more than doubled our Google reviews that we had for the last 5 years and the last 5 months. And so I think that's been a huge driving factor of why we've been getting so many from Google lately. But yeah, marketing is a place I need to step up my game for sure.
So when it comes to like building your practice, I know that, how long have you been at the location you're at?
So we've been there 5.5 years.
Wow. That's impressive, man. I think we might have met you maybe you're a year into practice.
It was probably my first year that we met. Yeah.
So I know that you probably go to some types of chiropractic events. What are a couple of your favorite chiropractic events you've ever been to?
Well, first, shout out to Danny Knowles with Mile High. Just puts on a rockin' event every year. It's coming up next month, right? The end of next month, the 19th to the 20th
It's
to the
always on Luke's
23rd.
birthday.
It's always around my birthday.
Happy early birthday, sir.
Thank you.
So that's a big one. I have not been to Cal Jam, but I've heard nothing but amazing things with Billy DeMoss out there. I would love to get out to Cal Jam at some point. When I don't think Dr. Schiffman is doing his seminars anymore. He may be with the CCC that him and Ben Lerner just started. But when I was going to see Dr. Schiffman at his events, they were always incredible. Is DE still going on?
Oh yeah, yep.
Okay, I hadn't heard about it in a little bit. So yeah, DE when I was down at Life, I would go to DE events, and those were always incredible, inspiring, and the caliber of docs and just the people that you meet there are second to none. They're amazing. So,
Well, I loved hearing a couple of the stories you told earlier in the segment. Do you have any other really profound miracle stories that you've either witnessed or have done yourself in your office?
yeah, there was a gentleman that came in. This may have been my first year in practice, but he was a 27-year-old gentleman. So this was 2016. So that had been my first year in practice. 27 years old, was having 2 to 3 seizures a week. He was having 4 to 5 migraines a week. He lived in a chronic state of headache, digestive issues, reproductive issues, vertigo so bad that if he tried to walk down the hall, he would collapse into the wall. Always had to have 3 and 4 people that would come in and help usher him in. As you can imagine, depression, anxiety. When he first came in, posture was down like this and was talking really low, and really wouldn't even give me any eye contact. And he was on medications for depression, anxiety, seizures, and migraines. From his first adjustment, he has not had another seizure. Another seizures. All seizures were gone the first adjustment. All of his migraines and his vertigo cleared up within 2 months. Within 6 months, he was completely symptom-free. The next 6 months, his doctor weaned him off all 4 of his medications. And within a year, he was now a 28-year-old, healthy, young dude, living life, went horseback riding for the first time, was able to work. Game changer. It was amazing. So that's probably one of my biggest miracle stories, if you will, of just the proof of the amazing capacity the body has to heal and regenerate when it's put back in the right environment.
Does he still come in? Do you still interact with him?
I don't. I actually recently had a gentleman come in from Westminster. So he drives 40 minutes one way based off that story. So he knows the gentleman's mom, and he's still doing great. I haven't seen him in a while. I'd love to reconnect with him and chat with him some more. So.
That's cool. I think that a lot of times when people hear our show, they take away something. And one of the things I love most about chiropractic and Chiro Hustle specifically is we keep free speech alive and well in the beautiful profession of chiropractic. And when we get a chance to interview great practitioners like yourself and hearing something that you stand for is freedom, that's one of the reasons why we wanted to create this message in Chiro Hustle, is to perpetuate the freedom of speech in chiropractic and to keep subluxation-based chiropractic alive and well, and to be able to focus on these types of stories, because it wasn't about the pain. It wasn't about chasing symptoms. It was about restoring someone's health back to vitality, to where this person could have a quality of life. And maybe you'll never see this person again, but they might be your greatest advocate for the rest of their life, because they said, this was the miracle I experienced after being under a care of Dr. Rick Kirkpatrick. And this is why you should go drive 40 minutes away to go see this guy, because you can see in me today, I am the testimony of whatever chiropractic did for me. So
Absolutely.
I think, you know, what we are able to accomplish as a unit, you know, sometimes I always ask Luke, like, what's like the focus of us, and what's the future for us? And, you know, the real focus and future is to this month, we started producing and releasing 2 episodes a week. So we're going more production. We want the chiropractic message to get out quicker. And this has been like a dream of mine for a long time, is to produce faster and to get more content out to more people, to where more minds can be touched by the chiropractic message. And, you know, I also talked to Luke about where are we going? And, you know, the goal is to be at 1,000 episodes one day. And, you know, this is episode 175. So if you can tell, between the two of us, we have a lot of work to do. And, but I think that that's just it, is when we tell this narrative and this story and we weave this content together, there will be a day where we do bring chiropractic mainstream because of our labor of love, which is sharing this message of chiropractic and interviewing people. It's something I've always loved doing. And when we get a chance to connect the dots of chiropractic and these miracle stories, there's one person, like you said, that's going to hear it. And it could be the one thing that they needed to hear to get them over the freedom that they needed to instill in themselves, to say, this is for me, and I love that guy, and I'm going to go see that practitioner, and this is the person I'm going to trust. So I do think that what we're doing together is very important.
Absolutely. And while we're on that note, hats off to you two for all you do. And you guys are called Chiro Hustle for a reason. You guys just hustle and grind. And you're learning how to take better care of yourself, which I appreciate. I know you were grinding for so long. And so to see you guys just thriving and healthy and vibrant, and just crushing it in the world. And you guys are making a huge impact on this profession and taking it out to the world. And so keep doing what you're doing. You guys are awesome.
Well, we always appreciate the kind words too, just like you do. And that's one of the best parts about what we get to do, is build reciprocity within our network. And like I said, I want to get you more opportunities to get on more shows, because I do think that your time is here, and we don't have time to waste anymore.
No, we don't.
So
Yeah.
what would you say to a struggling chiropractic student if they're just having a really rough time at school? Maybe they're watching this right now. What would be some advice that you would give to them?
Fall in love with the body's capacity to heal. Be in awe of how miraculous this thing is that we get to live in. Fall in love with the power that you get to work with every time you lay hands on somebody. I know, especially if we're within your first year of practice, or first year of school, excuse me, it can kind of beat you down a little bit, and you're like, man, like, is this ever going to be worth it? Like, it's just monotony, and it's worth it. The lives that you get to impact, and the changes you get to see changes and miracle stories in people that many on this planet will never ever see. And so there is a light at the end of the tunnel. So keep moving forward. Take care of yourself in the process. Give yourself some grace. Take some time for you, and keep moving forward, because at the end, it's very worth it.
Great advice. You know, there's a lot of people out there that will listen to this once again, and they'll be looking for a takeaway. And I think that chiropractic is a profession known for its healing properties, and the healing arts. And I think that sometimes when chiropractic students go through a program, which I haven't done, but I can only imagine that the curriculum's so compounding on those first year students that they're just looking for like some type of a reprieve from the studying and the testing and the constant curriculum. So I think some of those things that you share are very important, because there is going to be a time where they do get a chance to start the practice of chiropractic. And with those fundamentals in that first year, they're going to walk into the practice and they're going to know more about the anatomy. They're going to know more about the functionality of the human body. And if they fall in love with the healing art of chiropractic, it's like there is no ceiling. It's just get out of your own way and go out there and change the world.
Absolutely. And on that, so students, as you're going through, be diligent and learn a lot, because the more you learn, the more you can see when you're working on people. Going through school becomes very mechanical, and so you'll eventually have to learn to not be so mechanical and see more with your heart than with your mind. But knowledge helps the heart see. So learn a lot going through school, and then just love on people when you get out.
Let's talk about you personally a little bit. What kind of books do you like to read? Do you listen to any other podcasts? And what are some of your hobbies?
Yeah, books reading. So currently, I'm in some really light reading on spiritual warfare. So reading a gentleman's name is John Ramirez. And anyway, just digging into some spiritual warfare. I read a lot of nonfiction books. Very rarely do I ever pick up a fiction book. Bible, that's in the daily. What else? So that's what I'm reading right now. Hobbies. Right now, really just getting out and spending time with my daughter. So, man, miss that girl. She's 3.5 years old and one of the most amazing humans you'll ever meet. If you ever get the chance to meet Makinzie, you'll love her. So spending time with her, and I didn't think that would choke me up, but it did. And then what was your last question?
What other podcasts do you like to listen to?
Yeah, so currently I'm not listening to any other podcasts.
Just Chiro Hustle.
Just Chiro Hustle.
Perfect.
Well, I know that there's something that most people don't know about you, and I think you should share with them and tell them why you do a backflip.
Why I do a backflip?
You can do a backflip, man.
I can do a backflip. I set a goal at 15, and so my coach, I take that back. The coach of the gym, I was in gymnastics at one point, and the coach of the gym was 40, I think 40 or 40, early 40s. And at 15, I was like, I'm going to do a backflip when I'm 40. And so every year I've done a backflip on my birthday. And so I've got one more before 40, before I set a new goal for, I don't know, 50 or 60.
Well, that's pretty cool. It's something a lot of people don't know about you.
It's fun. I've got a few party tricks up my sleeve.
So is there anything during our program today in our interview with you that we didn't ask you that you'd like to share with our audience?
You know, I don't think so. I think we covered a lot of it. We covered my why, and just to reiterate, the body is amazing. It doesn't do anything on accident. Everything it does is on purpose. There's always a cause, and so when we get to that root cause, body gets healthy.
That's
Brilliant.
an amazing quote. So where can people go if they want to find out more about you? A website, other social links?
Probably either just our website is belmarchiro.com, belmarchiro.com. there's a little bit about me there. Other than that, you know these guys. Send me a message, and we'll connect. We'll get to know each other.
Awesome. Well, that pretty much wraps up this interview, Rick. I want to thank you for being our guest today.
Hey, you too. Thank you so much for having me on board today. It was a pleasure and an honor.
We'll see you soon, brother. Thank you so much.
Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you at Mile High.
I'm looking forward to it. Have a blessed day, guys.
See you soon.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.